Hi, everybody. So, as you see, I don't have a co host today, but I will follow my shortly. I want to say hello and welcome to our minutes. Now I have to do two things at once. So, please bear with me as I bring some great stuff to the screen, some standard housekeeping stuff. Oh, I think my co host is back. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. So you want me to do it?
But I want you to do what?
You want me to do the intro? Cause I hear you. I got you, me. I gotta do
Oh no, I'm just saying I got to do two things at one time. So most people know me from behind the scenes. So now that I have to do both, it's going to be, not as
I got you.
seamless as I produce a show for
Uh
you.
huh.
So, oh,
Right,
most
right,
definitely. Go ahead. Go
right,
ahead.
right,
Go
right, right.
ahead.
All right. So that's right. Good evening. Good afternoon, billionaires in the making. Welcome to How We Linux. If you have never heard of us, we're Women in Linux. I'm Tamika, UCD. Today is a jam packed show on a lot of things, a lot of topics. I want to say. If you have never, ever heard of us before, you can check us out on womeninlinux.org, where you can find a little bit more about us. But really, where you're going to find most of our information is if you hit connect, join our Slack group, put in your email address. You must download Slack onto your device, whether it be a mobile device or a desktop or whatever. I use Slack inside of the web browser versus the desktop, but only because it's very resource heavy. So that's how I use it. So I would implore you to use it that way. Um, and if you want to actually shop with us, you can find our merchandise here on under shop. Hit all products. We also have other shirts as well too. We have raglans as well that don't have the 5 year anniversary logo on them. Remember, at the end of this year, this all goes away because our 5 year will be up. So get it while you can. I showed earlier one of the actual products here. You get it great for conferences. Also, as well, if you want to get a sweatshirt for the winter, and also I saw a beanie down here, so that's pretty cool. But there's more products on here. I didn't show everything, so there's more products. So go check it out. And last but not least, two more things: donate with your time, donate with your money. Uh, Give back. Some companies do a match as well too, so it'd be great if you got in, did a match, and so forth. If you want to do that. And then also, last but not least, if you want to link with us on Calendly, you can link with us there, where we do one-on-ones for career assessment. We do one-on-ones for, hey, maybe you just want to talk and you got something that you didn't want to share in a group. You can hit us there. And also the link for IT Pro TVD. If you post that, if you go to IT Pro TV, you get a 30% discount. You're going to you're probably going to actively want to use one of those discounts or affiliation links pretty soon, because of what we're going to go through today. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that joined. I see you, CKC. I see you, Lucretia Hall. Truth be told, welcome back, Karen. How you doing? Nameless 1000. How you doing? And on that IT Pro TV, the donation, well, not the donation code, the promo code is Women in Linux. I think I covered everything. D, let me know if I left something off. Did I leave anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. I'm in here navigating this new desk, so it's higher today because I got a standing desk from my office. Tam talked about me so bad that I had to get a new desk, but my shoulders feel so much better. However, usually I have risers on all this equipment that I have on my desk, but my desk is a little higher. So I've been kind of adjusting everything. So shout out to the new desk.
Shout out.
So tell us
Oh,
what we're going to be talking about today, because
what we're
you
gonna
were
talk.
so excited. You was like super amped at the first show, and we was like, look, This show
All
was
right.
cool, but
Yeah,
today
that
we
show was
got some
cool.
stuff. It's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So today, what we're gonna be talking about is fading careers, upcoming careers, training, people who are making money off of training, AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, big data, stuff I label cool shit. Um,
Did you
uh,
have to spell it with air quotes?
yeah.
This show is not for kids. When we post this show, it's not for children, so you can say shit.
Upcoming career. Oh, and D's gonna kick it off with a oldie but goodie. We may have a guest coming on as well too. We're gonna
Do
drop the link. Yeah, we may have a guest
who's
coming
the guest?
on.
I don't even know about this. The
Yeah,
secret
we
guest
don't know
today.
about that. I gotta double check to make sure that my guest is still coming here. Let's see, let me do it. Let me see. Let me see if he still it's a he. If see if he's still coming.
Is it he?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're checking with the he to see if
Yeah,
he is still
yeah, yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah. Um, and we had a long conversation this week about upcoming tech careers, what's going on, the shift, and so forth. So
Mm-hmm.
what's going on, Zoe? I see you out there on the West Coast.
Oh, hey, Zoe.
And also, you know what? Like, I want to do. I want to do this while I'm thinking about it. Right? We did. I did a poll, and on the poll, I wanted to know. Let me see. How can I can go
I did a
here.
poll.
Let me go there. Actually, let me go to Women in Linux. All right, and then let's go to Community tab. So I noticed that 50%, like if you haven't done this, there's a reason why I'm doing this, right? It looks like 50% of you are in the southeast and the southwest. We have 8% in the northwest. We have 24% in the northeast and 12% in the midwest. Now, why does this matter? It matters because of the tour. It matters because of where of connections and people and so forth. So this is why that matters, right? And let me give myself a check mark there. I didn't give myself a check mark. But this is why that matters. Because I want to make sure we're gearing information towards the proper people and want to make sure that we're getting things that you can use on a day-to-day basis. We want to make sure that it's something that you can take away today and use it in 2 hours. That's what I try to do. I try to give information that you can use right now. That's the reason for that. And coming down here to the other poll, if you haven't taken the poll, you still have chance to take these polls. I see that 52% are beginners, and 10% has not they you never heard of it. 29% are intermediate. So this gives me the thing that I need to know in terms of like, can the intermediate help the beginner and the never seen before? Can the beginner help the never seen before? The people who are advanced and expert, can you go back and help these people out? That's what we want to be. We want to be always in the giving backstage. Like, so just think of these as connected dots, right? You should be able to go back and forth, up and down here to get to help each other out. If we're not doing that, then something is wrong. We want to make sure that we're always giving back, and we also want to make sure that we're giving forward. That's why I talked about this morning. Evelyn, go vote, go vote out there. If you haven't voted, go vote. So that way we at least have that information, right? But the reason why I'm holding I have this up because I want to make sure that we're actually touching the topics that make sense to you and introducing stuff that makes sense to you, that you can walk away and you go share it with somebody else. Go share this stream with somebody else. If you haven't tweeted it out, tweet it out. If you haven't liked the video, like the video. Hit the notification button, subscribe. We want to make sure that we're getting something that you can walk away today. You can go explain this to your child. Okay, that's what we want. All right. So that's where we're
Yes.
at. So, and then D is gonna open it up with us today. D's
Is it
got
me? Is it
D's got
me?
a subject for us today. I see you out there, Katie King. I see you out there. D's gonna open up with us today. And go from there. Oh, my guests say they already here. I don't know what your username is. Send it to me on what your name is, or just type here inside the chat. That way I know. But again, we're gonna let D open up. When I get to the AI and machine learning talk, D, um, you could drop the links then, and we'll start inviting people up. We'll get the guest up to start talking and interacting and so forth. Right.
Okay. So I
So
want
D,
to tell the people, in Howie Linux, we do open up the our screen for people to start talking. So you have enough time right now to get yourself together, because we've been allowing people not to be on screen. And so get yourself together now. If you want to chat, I don't know, fluff your hair, put some cocoa butter
I was gonna
on,
say something else, but I didn't.
do all that good stuff so that you can come out and share with the people your story, your thoughts, your opinions about how you Linux. So you got enough time to do that. We're only 13 minutes into the show. So go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And so today we're going to be talking about
What we starting
Cobalt.
off with? What we're starting off with?
What did I say? What did I say?
Well, what today we're gonna be talking about? This is what we're starting off with, though.
Uh, I mean, do you want to go ahead and take it from me?
Uh-uh.
Okay, are you going to do that the whole time?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because we've already started off. So today, this is what we're talking about. This is what I'm talking about right now. And if you guys, I usually put that this is a notepad moment. So I'm going to let you know that this is a notepad moment. We're going to be talking about COBOL. And if people don't know about COBOL, it's a common business oriented language, and it was designed specifically for business. And you know what? It's responsible for being a unseen day-to-day operations in the economy of the world, not just the United States, not just Japan, not just Europe, but the world. And this day-to-day logic is used to process our most critical and frequently used data. And so what people don't know is this language is over a half a century old, right? And so I took this picture and I brought this picture up to let you know this is how a mainframe computer looked in 1960. So if it's a half a century old, and this is 1960, and this is what it looked like. And businesses are still using mainframes. It might be a little updated, but this programming language is still being used. I mean, come on now. You got to say, well, why is it trailing off? Why haven't I heard about it? Well, what do you mean? Why haven't you heard about it? Uh-oh, here we go with the I guess this is what Tamika always deals with.
And this, yeah, you have to use Firefox to avoid those ads.
Okay, so I'm not about to use Firefox. I got everything pulled up in Chrome. I appreciate it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on using it because keep on moving on because I found what I was looking for. So some of the largest business systems that run COBOL. Okay, so I got some numbers for you. You know how we like to bring the numbers. So in healthcare, that's 60 million patients. In banking, that's 95% of ATM transactions, 95%. In travel, that's 96% of the bookings. Social Security, that's 60 million lines of code. At the point of sale, which is our POS, point of sale is where you make your purchases. So everything that you buy, that's 80% of all transactions daily. And for the IRS, that's 50 million lines of code. And that takes me back to this picture that I can't pull up. Oh, here we go. Is because this particular picture, it goes back to people. They wanted people to process unemployment claims. So last year and the year before, last year when it was the pandemic and everybody was getting held up and everybody wanted to know why people were being held up from their unemployment claims. This was one of the big problems, is that they didn't have anybody that can run these old systems, because a lot of the engineers that were using Cobalt, they were retired. So you always hear us talking about Pearl, but Cobalt was another one of them. And I know for me at my job, we always got Cobalt training, but we deal with a lot of the businesses today that are in healthcare, that are in banking, so, and a lot of government agencies, and so they're always running a Cobalt training. With that
Yeah.
being said, you
The
want to
other
know, well, go
the
ahead.
other one, the place she was talking about was in New Jersey. So when the pandemic hit, New Jersey was at a standstill because they didn't have any COBOL trainers. So people were giving out free training for people to go work in New Jersey to train. And so some here, I tried to always give y'all numbers, and this was probably like maybe 2 years ago. I saw COBOL programmers, they were paying them anywhere from 250K to 300K at that time. So I don't know what it is right now, but that was then. They were looking for people, and they were paying them 250 to 300K, because some of that was actually translating COBOL over to microservices, and what does that look like. So I'm just trying to let you know, like, don't think that some of this stuff is going away. Some of this stuff is still here, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. What I give information, because I'm pulling reports from Gartner, from Harvard Business Review. I'm pulling in a lot of data to give that to you, so you can understand how to disseminate this stuff and where you should be going and what you should be looking at. Back over to you, D.
Okay. Appreciate it. And now, talking about where we should be going, we should be going to the Open Mainframe Summit. And that's in a couple of days here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of this is given by the Linux Foundation, and a lot of the Linux Foundation's events have been virtual and they've been free. So when you want to know about more about COBOL and what's going on, you know what? These are your people. You need to be going to this event right here. So there should be no excuses about what are they doing, what's going on. This is the place to be, the Open Mainframe Summit, and it's a virtual event, so you can enjoy this summit from your own home, or your bed, or your, as my sister called it, the bed office. And you can check it out and find who your tribe is, and a little bit more about what they're doing with Open Mainframe, COBOL, the programming language. Somebody here mentioned training as well, but this is where you need to be. We always encourage to go to the conferences. Let's see what else I got here. And speaking of training, because Evelyn, she's like, well, where is the training? Well, where is the training? IBM, and we work with IBM, not technically work with them, but we have been using their free RHCHA training for our RSCHA exam prep that we do every other Thursday for women in Linux. But IBM offers a free COBOL training, and this was actually last year it started, and this was to address the overload in the unemployment systems. So if you can see this link up here,
Oh,
and
and hold on before you continue though,
go
right?
ahead.
You said last year with the overload and unemployment. Remember now, 10 million people just became unemployed, right? So you don't think they're gonna need more people to understand these systems? So if you just want to do this as a side hustle, remember I always talk about making money in tech and put it somewhere else. Here it is. Here we go. Just another avenue to do it. And remember, I just showed you earlier about the guy who was doing the influencer stuff. You can become knowledgeable in COBOL and then start offering up training. That's going to be important. Remember, I said that, right? Because I'm gonna show you some stuff later, and you're just gonna be like, "Yep, I see where she's going with this." The training, as always, is always in the RHCSA channel. It is posted in Slack in the RHCSA channel. It
Well,
is
I just
pinned
posted
in
the
the chat.
COBOL training. I hadn't personally posted the COBOL training. I was going to be a little honorary and tell you guys to research it because that's what I do. That's part of being a technologist. You got to research it. But I just threw you guys a solid and posted it in the chat. So go ahead and swoop that up in the chat.
Yep. See, you at IBM now, Natasha. I'm giving you stuff you didn't even know about. You didn't even know about it. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah. And so also, and then if you to get familiar and when you do some extra digging, they have the IBM Enterprise Cobalt for ZOS.
Yeah, that's specialized. That's on their platform.
That's on their platform. So I'm bringing it up for Natasha. So if you're already at a company and they're offering this training, I'm pretty sure that this is in your training portal. So look for IBM Enterprise Cobalt for ZOS because that's still skill stacking at a job that you are already at. And then also with the training, I'm going to drop this other link here, and this is going to be for, let me go back up, for the 5 best free Cobalt courses and classes. And this was just updated this month. And so they have one with Udemy. They have one with LinkedIn Learning. They have one with GoGo Training. I'm not too familiar with GoGo Training. Tam, are you familiar with GoGo Training?
GoGo Training. Is that GoGo Training? Is that the online aircraft stuff? GoGo Training?
It just it says that they offer various programming courses that help
Nah.
developers. I'm not familiar with GoGo Training, but they have one here free, and then they have one with the IBM, the Inner Skill Learning, which I went ahead and showed you guys, and then they have one that's free with the Learning Tree. So I dropped those 2 links as well for our Cobalt, and that's the quick
And
rundown with
and,
Cobalt. Tim,
and then two,
you
we
got
don't
something to
have
add?
we don't have to just drop the links inside the chat. We can post the links afterwards under the description.
Yes.
That way you all can have them. So if somebody misses the actual feed, you can come back to it.
You know, our
But
people, they're thirsty for their knowledge. So they want it. They want it right now. They want it right now. So I threw them a bone for right now because I definitely need to go back and post. And I posted those because those links were short. If those links were a little bit longer, you guys wouldn't have got them this week.
yeah, go ahead and drop the link. Our guest is ready to come up. All right, so last time I checked, he was eating, but I hope he's done eating now because you're coming up. Because I know he's actually running something on Clubhouse at 12 o'clock. So check him out. Uh, we'll see if he's ready or whatnot. Should be ready. He didn't say that he wasn't. All right. A jobs are the jobs accessible for interest? Yeah, I mean, you're learning, so yeah, probably more than likely they were taking volunteers at one point. I probably sure they take anybody that can read, write, and open a file and do something with it, right? So that's where we're at. So, D, if you could drop the link to the show, that'd be great. All right.
What do you mean? What the stream?
Yeah, to the stream. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna transition into AI, and the reason why I'm actually yeah, it ain't sexy. Yeah, it's not sexy at all. But again, you know, if you're just looking for something else, like I'm not telling you this is long term, gonna get you 10 years. I'm just telling you some right now money, right? Because people are still using it. That's all that is. All right, so we're gonna transition into AI and probably some AI and robotics and so forth. What I want to do is what I want to do is talk about what I found until our guest comes up. Let me know when he's backstage. His name is Albert. He'll be coming up. You can't see this on here on my screen. However, what I can try to blow this up a little bit.
Yeah, you can blow it up a little bit where it gets rid of the Twitter on the side, possibly. Yeah. Oh, it needs to. It's coming
Yeah,
in clearer. If you
yeah, that's
probably
about
do
as
a
big
full
as
screen, you can probably get us a little better visibility.
Yeah, that's about all I can do right there.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just the link. However, I just want to show you when we talk about edge computing, AI, machine learning, and IoT devices. Okay, this is the landscape of IoT startup from 2021 with 1,200 plus companies. What I want to show you was the breakdown of the titles, data and analytics, and that falls under IoT software right here. Then you have the IoT platform, you have IoT security, you have database, then you have IoT hardware, and what it's broken down into sensors, a complete device, a dev board, and kit. They got others, and then they got processors. And then you have IoT connectivity, where you're talking about connectivity, gateway, hub, modules, and SIMs. And then you have IoT service, IoT development and system integration services, and then developer tools. I wanted to show you that so you can get an understanding of how this market is being broke down, right? And this is a huge market. You're really at the crux of this market right now. You're in it right now when we're talking about this. Hopefully this is not as super huge, and it is. Let me go back out. Let me make this smaller. There we go. All right. And what other one I wanted to bring up? Hold on. I had another link that I wanted to bring up because I want to show you the idea behind the whole AI and machine learning. So you have an idea about that. That may be the same person there. Yep. So the open source summit that D was just talking about, this one is Japan Automotive Linux Summit for 2019, dealing with embedded systems, infrastructure, AI, and data. AGL, that's automotive grade Linux, and security. They're talking about security with that. This is they had a call for proposals that ended on September 19th, but this is Japan. It's going to be virtual. I tell you, you want to check this out. It's from December the 14th through the 15th of 2021. So check that out. Here, I brought this up to show you about machine learning, technical landscape, ML, deep learning frameworks, and so forth. D, we got a guest back there. Let me see something. Let me see if you're
Yes,
ready.
yeah.
Huh?
I don't have a guess up yet. Somebody tried to creep through, but I guess they were like, "Ooh, I didn't mean to be here," so they just creeped out. But it wasn't your
Okay.
guess.
Okay. So let's look at this right here. All right. So this falls under machine learning. Let me make this a little bigger. Right. So these are machine learning tools. But what I liked about this is how they broke it down. They broke it down into parts of, like, okay, well, if you're going to study machine learning, well, here's the tools that deal with statistical and mathematical. They break it down. I'm sure you know about SciPy, NumPy, right? General purpose, the SciLearn kit. They rapid minor, MATLAB. You if you're an engineer, computer engineer, electrical engineer, probably even mechanical, you know what MATLAB is. Narrow solutions, NTLK, Genism, LBSVM, and then they got interactive programs. So if you're familiar with Grafana and Kibana, you probably look at that from a monitoring situation. Tableau, and even Zeppelin and Jupyter. Kibana, Grafana, Tableau, Jupyter are pretty well known. Zeppelin probably be the second tier of well known. Then we got here with ML, DL, with deep learning, machine learning, deep learning with map reduce, and then they talk about how that works. And then deep learning with GPUs, with TensorFlow, uh, Thano, Chainer, Paddle, and then deep learning wrappers with NVIDIA digits, tensor layer, glue, and Keras. Now I show you all of this is because when you get into these different conferences and you start taking like a class, like you may sign up for a conference and you may take a class, they'll probably mention some of these tools and have you use some of these tools. I remember when TensorFlow came out, it was super huge to talk about these different tools. Evelyn, I see you asked about, is there a calendar of events? Yeah, there's a calendar of events. People been trying to aggregate that for years. Papercall.io, and papercall.io, and there was one, Eventbrite, and really just where you find it. Most of the events is probably on Twitter. Some people source them and pull it together, but it'd be so many events that it's just kind of hard to keep up with. But I try to keep everything in our channel, in our event channel, conference channel, right? So let me get out of full screen mode here. All right, the other one is this right here. This is what I found here. So if you use Waze, I'm sure you use Waze, and I always talk about what is the technology stack behind what you're using, right? You should be always asking that question. So optimizing Waze ad delivery using TensorFlow over Vertex AI. This is from Google Cloud. Vertex AI is super huge. Just like this, their new thing. But again, they're looking at how can using Waze ads. How is Waze pushing ads to you on the platform, right? So they talk about how that works, how the data flows, or how the workflow is, not the data but the workflow. And then they go into unlocking inventory using ML and so forth, and then they have their routes and all of that. So you can drop this link if you're interested in checking it out. I thought it was pretty good information on that. Let me see, what else did I have here. Okay, yeah, I think we might have went over this, but let me grab this. I think this was a new book that just came out in August. It is AI and machine learning book. It needs some time to scroll and browse here. So AI and machine learning for on device development. And if you remember that landscape that I just showed, on device development, so we're talking about the complete device. And let me see if I can blow that up again. So let me see, FlexWave, Starship, NoTem, and they're so small, so it's hard for me to read it. But those are just some of the on devices that they talk about. But again, this came out August of 2021. I'm going to start. And then what I want to do is go through and check out the chapters. So we got introduction to AI, machine learning. What is artificial intelligence, right? They break down what that is. What is machine learning? And then I think there's a diagram. I don't know if it's in here, but it talked about AI overall, and then machine learning being a subset of AI, and then breaking it down into smaller. I wish I should have took a screenshot of that particular diagram so you could see that. But then they just got an introduction to the machine learning kit, building a face detection app on Android, computer vision apps with ML kit on Android, text processing apps with ML kit on the Android, computer vision with ML kit on iOS, and then they just continue on throughout this book here. But I thought it was a good book to talk about from a device perspective, and just for those that just want to read, for learning. That's something I will probably browse through and just read, just for my own edification, just because. The next thing I wanted to bring up was now we're kind of transitioning into big data. And then I'm gonna go back and take a pause and then go into careers here. With some power. All right, so again, the big data crisis. Let me blow this up here and make that bigger. All right, so the big data crisis, the amount of data companies collect keeps growing. They urgently need a strategy to make sense of it all. They urgently need talent as well, too. So we're looking at this. Photos stored on Facebook Since 2010, it's been 40 billion. They got 40 billion. And well, from 2010, 40 billion to 2013, 250 billion. The amount of information stored digitally from 2000 went from 25% to 98%, and that's just going to go even higher. Big data is being analyzed according by zero point 0.5. I guess it's probably making 0.5% of the brain, but the amount spent on big data was 31 billion in 2013, and it moved to 114 billion in in 2018. So you look how much of a gain, and we're in 2021, and we had 2020, which was a pandemic. So you know there was a lot of data movement then for that. The number of internet connected products expected by 2018 was 21 billion. That was 2018. So you know we probably surpassed that when we hit 2020. So that just gives you an idea. It says the big data smart researchers aren't just collecting big data; they're viewing it as one tool in their toolbox, combining big data with customer engagement. So Netflix, LinkedIn, USAA, and they're talking about what they're doing with that data, right? So again, what I'm going to show you in a little in a minute. It's going to be an eye opener to you about what's going on in the world and where we're headed and what we need to be looking at. Let me check the messages here and make sure I didn't miss any messages or whatnot. Hold on. Conference channel, yup. What's going on, Savage? How you doing? Truth be told, what to do? Uh, Evelyn, what's going on? Kevin, what's going on? Natasha, what's going on? Just making sure I got everybody. Oh yeah, let me double check. Did we have anybody backstage, Steve?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
We
bring
have
them.
someone coming to the stage.
Come to the stage, sexy chocolate. Come to the stage, sexy chocolate. What's going on, Snuggle 668? How do you get to wheel shopping? Let me show you. If you go to
Somebody want to
womeninlinux.org,
buy something?
yep, bring them on up too, by the way. Womeninlinux.org, and then you hit shop. Womeninlinux.org, and then hit shop. All right. Go ahead, D. I saw somebody come up.
They did.
All right. What's going on, Albert? If you can hear us,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm awesome.
You caught me in the middle, middle of these burritos.
D, you remember Albert from Clubhouse in Oakland?
Hey, Albert, how you doing? I do remember.
I'm doing pretty
It's my
good.
Bay Area brother.
So, Albert, the reason why I asked you to come on is you're in the Bay Area, you're in tech. I know you don't have a lot of time. You got to get to your clubhouse, but first things first, introduce yourself. Make sure you drop your clubhouse, and make sure you tell us what you do.
Sure. So Albert Hives. I've been doing software engineering for about 20 years now. I'm aging myself a little bit. But yeah, so I've been in several industries, mostly been, working in Silicon Valley all that time. Um, I'm currently, I did maybe 13 of those years were spent in healthcare, designing back end systems for the U.S. and Canadian health systems. And I'm currently working for a Uber spinoff, um, doing robotics, essentially doing um, robot based deliveries. So that's my current situation. Design systems pretty pretty much. I use I use a host of technologies to design those systems. So you gotta at the design level, you gotta like have a you gotta have a wealth of knowledge, whether it be architectural knowledge, whether it be technology in particular, operating systems, um, programming languages, etc. So um, that's kind of um, what I've been doing um, for quite some time now, and so yeah, just joining and hearing you ladies talk about Linux is pretty cool.
Yep. Thank you for coming. Also, speaking of what you do, can you give us like a? I know it's been 20 years, but give us a brief synopsis of say you were hiring somebody.
Mhm.
What background would you be looking for them to come in?
Um, and that depends on what position. For example, if I'm looking for a senior software engineer, um, my expectation would be that you're capable of running a team, so you show leadership skills. I would also look for mentoring skills. Be able to mentor junior engineers. And on the technology side, you should have some basic understanding on different operating systems. Specifically, most of the deployments now, websites, backend systems, or mostly on Linux. So, I mean, if you don't understand Linux, you're pretty much cutting yourself out of probably 60 to 70% of jobs. I mean, at least having some Linux skill set is is pretty necessary in today's industry. But also your ability, and this would go for any level of engineer, your ability to problem solve, and that doesn't necessarily mean problem solve in the language that we're using, but generally being able to problem solve. You know, I mean, right now I'm working in a language that I've never used before, but I understand the core principles of computer science and engineering. And so I'm able to express those ideas, those algorithms in different languages. So being able to understand how, the computer is organized in terms of memory and all that stuff is fundamental in what most of these companies are looking for. So, you know, you should definitely understand that. You should definitely understand design, design concepts. And even if you don't know, you know, how to program device drivers in a Linux kernel, you should at least know the organization of the operating system at a high level. So those things, in my opinion, will set you apart from the rest, because there's a lot of people that's looking for work, and you want to definitely set yourself apart from the pack.
Yep, and I talked about this last week about understanding that there's a book that every college student probably goes through. It's called Modern Operating Systems, but
Hmm.
just understanding how operating systems work. What is the kernel? I talked about this with syscalls and device drivers. Understanding what's so special about the kernel. How does the kernel? What makes the kernel so special? Understanding how memory works and paging and how and it just even like I'm old school, so I even like assembly. It just that's just me. I liked assembly because it was
Hmm.
it was fun, but I got a chance to really understand like how to put data into something and it went into a register and I can move data around in the register. What does it mean to have a mouse? How does the mouse work? What's the layout of the screen and understanding that. So that was really cool. So another question I got for you, Albert, and I think you got to go after this because you ain't got much time. My last question for you. My last question for you is outside of just learning Linux and operating systems and design, what other skill set would you say would set someone apart, especially when,
Hmm.
and especially in Silicon Valley? We know in Silicon Valley you got to be whatever it is you need to be for that company. But what else would set you apart that you think that will a skill set that will last at least 5 years?
I could give you a skill set that will last your entire career.
Right.
Um, if you know how to design things, you are invaluable. And it doesn't matter if you get laid off. I mean, that's part of business. Companies go under, people get laid off. But what sets your skill set apart from other people is design skills. What I mean specifically by that is the ability to design APIs, the ability to design the way components talk to each other at the high level. Now, you could you could model that, in various ways, UML diagrams, sequence diagrams, etc. Having those skills is very much a lost art. Being able to whiteboard, etc., and communicate that to different audiences. I might be talking to a business or a person on detailed design. I need to switch my mode of communication to fit their understanding and be able to then take that diagram and go into detail to engineers to fit their mode of understanding. So being able to do that will last your entire career. And again, I'm almost on the right side. I'm about, really close to being on the right side of my career. What I mean by that is the left side is the beginning and the right side is towards retirement. Um, and one of the big things with young engineers that I see, they're not being taught these skill sets when they're coming into these big companies because they're not being allowed the the opportunity to fail. And it's because when I came into the industry 20 years ago, we were given that opportunity. We were mentored by people that were 15, 20 years our elder. And so I would strongly suggest any young engineer or any engineer to learn those design skills because they're invaluable. And if you couple that with what you just said prior, the ability to understand how the operating system works, round robining, and how memory is allocated and stuff like that. Even though that's cliche, the virtual machines have kind of made people, a lot of engineers kind of lazy, but the virtual machine also does what you tell it to do. If you tell it to go garbage collect based on what object you choose, you know, it will do what you say. And so that's the difference between getting a reasonable cloud bill versus a 250,000 cloud bill and having to explain that to the VP. And I've been there, with with algorithms not running so well, and you're having to explain why an engineer did XYZ. So these are things that you have to think about, and we've gotten so far away of those things because cloud is quote unquote cloud is cheap. You can throw pennies, but those pennies quickly end up being hundreds of dollars and thousands and hundreds and thousands of dollars, before you know it. And so those things will never go away. Learning that skill set, no matter how many, how good we build operating systems and how good we build, programming languages, virtual machines, etc. So having those skill sets will make you design differently, and so that's really the major skill set that I always focus on that sets people apart.
Thank you. I know you got to run to your
I got a few more minutes. Give me another.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know you got to run. I don't want to,
Well, just keep track of time for me, because
it's
with me,
250. It's
I'll mess
251
around
on my
and
end. It's
it'll be
251 on my end. So
yeah,
that's why.
yeah,
It,
it'll be 12 p.m. at night.
you know,
I keep going.
yeah. So the things that had came to mind to me while I was there, I know somebody had mentioned data structures, and I said some of these cloud classes are doing y'all a disservice because you have no clue about operating systems and data structures and
Hmm.
memory management. They
Hmm.
do you a disservice, really. Just my own personal opinion. You need to get that outside. Don't negate going to a community college to get those skills at a
Hmm.
cheaper price than going to a 4-year college just to
Hmm.
add on to your cloud certification. Just go to a community college and get that, right? If you're
Hmm.
not going to go to school 4 years, to go do that. My other question for you roll, because I know you got three. What is your title at the company? What company do you work for, if you don't mind sharing? And
Hmm.
what is the name of your clubhouse that you're doing?
So my title, it's interesting because yeah, I'm seeing most of the most of the young companies don't really is not too fond of titles,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, I'm a lead on our data platform, excuse me, delivery platform team.
Gotcha.
And so my company name is Serve Robotics, and
Server robotics.
Serve
Serve robotics.
Robotics, yeah.
Okay.
And
AI.
so what's that?
Is it AI? Serve robotics. AI.
Serverobotics.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and so um, yeah, my clubhouse room is called Software by Design.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reboot it and do mentoring. And today we're gonna have a discussion. I'm calling it Programming Language Wars. It's probably a little bit clickbait, but the whole purpose is for people to come in and talk about their language of choice, how they're using it, why they're using it, what are the cool things that it has, and for us to kind of get together and really talk through some things and learn some things from each other and apply it to the language or the projects that we're using in our in our spare time or at work. But the the that title, most of the people, most of the young companies, that title is equivalent to a software architect.
Right.
So that's it took me a while to get my head around it, but that's just the way it is. But it doesn't matter, it is what it is.
All right.
Um,
And one more thing. Would you?
mhm,
Here's what I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
mhm.
I think anyone that's going down the path of AI and machine learning need to be in the Go and Rust era. Is there, for as language, thoughts on that?
um, Now Go Go is interesting. Um, a lot of the stuff that they're building now, a lot of the SREs, a lot of SREs are really using Go,
Mm-hmm.
doing Kubernetes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have not used Go. I've looked at it. The language looks interesting. Um, Now Rust is very interesting. Now I'm not sure how the projects are. How many major projects are using Rust, but Rust is basically presenting themselves as a better C. Um, and what I can tell you is really fast. I've looked at some numbers um, of gRPC.
Mm-hmm.
Russ is, we're talking about in requests per second. Russ is at like 50,000, number one at 50,000, 50,000 ish requests per second, followed by, believe it or not, .NET is at about 48. So, the run times, Go, and Go is right behind .NET. Um, Go, Rust, in C sharp, I would definitely be learning those, those languages. You know, Java. People like to push Python a lot, but I'll say it, and I've told you before, I don't like Python. And the reason why I don't like Python is slow. Python is extremely slow. So to give you an understanding of what I mean by that is, I worked at a healthcare company, and somebody decided to write a key, a key, let's just call it an application that, basically crawls through data in Python. And because of the sheer amount of data, it was constantly freezing up. And the thing is, while the language is very easy to grok, the runtime is slow. So that's the thing of, going back to what I was saying about the fundamentals. You have to understand that all these languages, has two different, when you say programming language, you're talking two different things. You're talking about the syntax, and you're talking about the runtime. Java is both a runtime and syntax. So, you know, be mindful of what runtime you're using. Like I said, from the performance numbers that I've seen, Russ Russ is kicking everybody's butt in terms of runtime. Um, but we'll see how it shakes out, because I haven't really seen a lot of major projects that are um, you know, using Rust. But like I said, by all accounts, it seems like a great language.
Yeah, we're using Rust at OctoML. There'll be some nice announcements coming out about OctoML. We do AI and machine learning, so yeah.
Hey, when you get a chance, if you get a chance later today, come over there and let us know about Rust, because anybody on here that knows about these languages, come over. When you get a chance, when you finish this stream first, and then come over.
Look,
Come
just kick
over.
everybody off.
And come over and and let us know. And the thing is, um, I can't speak to the details of it, but somebody will, and that's the point of me kind of having this thing. Is like, let's share some knowledge.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's that's I think I think they're both really interesting languages.
All right. So my last thing, I always try to give people realistic expectations and numbers and stuff. What kind of numbers are you seeing in, I guess, remote and in the Silicon Valley when you're talking about, I guess, in your position, across just a average? What kind of numbers are you seeing salary wise?
um
Person dependent, I got it,
I
but just
I
on
can
average.
well I can tell you for a senior for a senior engineer um, in the Silicon Valley, it would not be a overreach to say a senior engineer. And when I say senior, I'm talking about someone with 8 to 12 years. And 8 is probably at the low end, so maybe 10 to 12 years experience to make more than 200 on average. Now, if you're talking the FANG companies, they're going to probably make significantly more than that. You know, if you go to somebody like Netflix, you'll see engineers making 450 plus as a senior engineer, and that's just normal. You go to, you know, I think it's levels
Levels
FL.
FY.
Yeah, so
FYI.
and
Yep.
I won't say what company that I interviewed at, but I interviewed for one of those companies, and as a senior engineer, and the pay range was between 700 and 1.2 million.
Gotcha.
And that's normal. That's literally normal. It's normal for me to see regular engineers rolling around in Lamborghinis and in
Yep.
McLarens. I
Yep.
see that all the time.
All the time.
All the
Like,
time in the Bay Area. Just like you see Toyotas, I see
yeah.
no, I'm just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
real.
yeah, and that's why I tell people like that $100,000. Yeah, okay, but like you said, 750 to 1.2 million. Yep. All right. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3:02 on my end. My bad. We missed it. I know you got to start at 3 o'clock, right?
Yep, no problem. Hopefully see you guys over there when you wrap up here.
Yep.
Thank you for the forum. Thank you for giving me some great
I,
questions that
I,
to share.
man, I thank you, and I hope you enjoy your burrito.
They all gone now. All right, see you in a bit, Tamika.
All right, man. Thank you
All
so
right,
much. All
all right.
right.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. All right, so there you have it. Again, this is somebody that's in Silicon Valley that's already doing it, and he works remotely. We have these conversations all the time. We have these conversations about salaries, design, being the solution. We are going to do a collaboration. We've been just trying to iron out what that collaboration looks like. When I tell you we got stuff in the works, I got stuff in the works. Go check him out. The Clubhouse is Software by Design. He's going on now. If you want to listen to us both at the same time, I know you can, but you're not gonna really pay attention to what I gotta tell you, right? I got a lot of stuff to tell you. All right. I saw someone said that I'll be asking the hard questions. I try to get to the facts. All that other stuff that be going on YouTube, I'm trying to get you to the facts. Like you want to know how much people pulling down, and that's what we talk about. When I say there are people making millions, there are people making millions, and 750 to 1.2 million. Yep, I like I said before, I know some people out there that are making anywhere 10 to 20 million. So, and that's not capping. That's just what they're doing, right? That's just their salaries. Some of them own companies that make that. Some of them are individuals that work at certain companies that are pulling in that in on a yearly basis. So, um, let's get to this money. So back to what we were doing to talk about how we get there. I pulled up dying careers, right? Let's talk about dying careers. All right, so we already know that 9 times out of 10, the real estate agent is probably gonna go away. Possibly could be. That looks kind of small on there. But this is what they got posted. This is from Kiplinger.com, and they're talking about what's going away. Real estate agents, truck and taxi drivers with autonomous vehicles. They're talking about roughly 33 million autonomous vehicles will be on the road by 2040. I don't know. There's some things that have to go on with some of that. We don't know. But I do know this, that if you ever pay attention, if you haven't been paying attention, you need to be paying attention to what's going on in your local area with the smart roads in cities, right? You need to be looking at what these smart road technology. We're getting smart roads here in Tampa and St. Pete. I've been seeing that come out, but you need to be paying attention to your locals and cities, what they're doing when they're talking about they got construction, because they're putting down smart roads. And you need to be looking at what those smart roads are capable of doing and what's in those smart roads, right? So you need to be paying attention to that, right? Because this is where this is going to come into play with autonomous vehicles and truck driving. The doctors are going away. Telehealth was huge this year with in 2020 with all of the coronavirus and so forth, being able to diagnose. Those platforms are huge. Remember, we're sharing data, so data behind that, the AI and the machine learning, being able to learn about a virus that's breaking out in China, what's going on when it, what facts do we have, and share that around the world, before it becomes a global pandemic. It was the first time in my life, and I'm sure for you as well, that we had a global pandemic that shut down the world, right? So you think about shutting down the world, including the airlines, including the even local travel was shut down. And so now you think about, the number of people that got affected, and then how everybody had to shift. So, I got more stuff to talk about that's going to really kind of get into this. The librarian, the cashier, the delivery driver and mail carrier, You already seen the what he was working on, right? Serve Robotics. The Not Servo Robotics, serverobotics.com. Did I spell it wrong? Yep, I did. Let's see. Let's look that up. Serve Robotics. I spelled it wrong. I'm not posted it in there, but let's go ahead and Serve Robotics. See if it comes up for me just right. Local robotics. I had it up here. Server robotics. That's what it is. Server robotics. All right. So here we go. Delivery. You can see that, right? So you can only imagine where this is going to be going to when we talk about delivering mail and stuff like that. And they're already doing this, right? So just think about it from that perspective. Think about the platform, right? You're not just the technology, but the platform. You got to think about the platform that's being built and what you can how and what other cards, other devices that you would integrate with this, right? So think of it from that perspective. The bank worker, the sports referee and umpire. I don't know about that part. I don't know about the sports umpiring, and I know about maybe the umpire, but I don't know about the sports referee. There is a FIFA game out there, that technology game with the video assistant referees. FIFA is already doing that right there. I remember that being talked about. Fisher's lawyer and legal secretaries. They said Deloitte has indicated that over the next 20 years, 114 legal jobs could be automated. Now, what I saw last week was there was a shortage of lawyers, right? It didn't say what type of lawyers though. So I don't know about on this one what we'll be seeing here. Factory workers, automation for the factory workers, shrinkage of over 204,000 jobs by 2019, and then the travel agent will be going away. So don't be bombed, be inspired. That's funny. Don't be bombed, be inspired. All right, so brought you bad news, right? But here they also give you good news. Bring you back up. The 10 fastest growing jobs of the next decade and how much they were paid. This was published on Friday. This is from CNBC Make It. I also have another set of another jobs that we're going to talk about too. But let's just get into this, right? Let's drop down here. Here we go. Roll that up a little bit. Wind turbine service technicians, and this is from what they're saying is going to be projected growth. Wind turbine service technicians, nurse practitioners, solar photovoltaic installers, statisticians, physician therapist assistants, information security analysts, home health personal care aides, health service managers, data scientists, and physician assistants. And that's from CNBC Making It. That didn't wow me like that. This probably more wowed me than anything, because now we're talking about, in my lane, IT. Right? That's what we want to talk about. Top of the line, artificial engineer, expected 344% growth rate. Artificial intelligence engineer, AI engineer, data scientist, 15%, information security analyst, 31%, software engineer, 22%, computer research scientist, 15%, data analyst. Notice there's a difference between a data scientist and a data analyst, 16%, IT manager, database administrator, web developer, computer hardware engineer, DevOps engineer, 21%. I can tell you right now, there's a shortage of a lot of DevSecOps engineers and DevOps engineers. It's such a shortage right now. Computer system analyst, Java developer, tech sales, PHP, Python, network, web design, machine learning engineer. They don't have any data for these right here. Software developer and computer. I'm going to put machine learning engineer probably up here with the AI engineer. Right? I'm going to throw that up there. It's somewhere up in here in the top 3 for that. This is what they got, what they're saying over time. We all know that these numbers are low. We already know that some of these people who are doing AI stuff are pulling way more than that, right? So that's just where we're at. So, oh, I had a tab right there. Boom. When he was talking about gRPC, boom, boom. All right. So here I went on to Gartner, and I wanted to talk about reports and metrics and what we and things that we could talk about. Four metrics that prove your cybersecurity program works. So those that are interested in getting into cybersecurity or just want to know what technology is going, you need to be reading like the Gartner reports, Harvard Business Review, checking out on LinkedIn, Monster, Dice, all these different companies, all these different websites. Type in keywords, right? When you start seeing numbers go down for your positions or a position that you want to get into, that's when you start looking like, okay, well, what's going to be my transition? Like, again, you need to have core skill sets so you can go anywhere. And what I try to tell you is what I try to tell you is what your core skill sets need to be so you can kind of pivot and maneuver how you want to. Linux is one, cloud is the other one, security is the other one, right? So you can pivot and go in that. And you heard design, but I'm also going to tell you, understand how to be the solution, how to listen to the customer, how to break down what they need or what they're saying, and then understand what you have in your toolbox or on your platform that they can use to help them get to where they need to go, right? Being the solution. And you can do that from a customer standpoint, as a company, or as an individual consultant, or as someone working there. All right. So they're here. They're just getting into how to show you care about cybersecurity, your priorities. But they break it down. I just wanted to get down here to care standard for cybersecurity: consistent, adequate, reasonable, and effective. Do your controls work the same over time across the organization? Can you deploy something and it still work the same after you added in security? You should be doing security integration. It should be testing integration. This should be automatically working. It should be in your workflow. It should be in your flow. Period. Adequate. Do you have satisfactory controls in line with business needs? Excuse me. The next one is, do you have appropriate and fair moderate controls? Like, is it reasonable? Is it cool to have somebody locked out of their computer for 30 minutes while they're sitting at home because they typed in the wrong password? Is that reasonable? Like, does that make sense? Right? That's a long time, right? Just little things like that. Are your controls successful in producing the desired and intended outcomes? Like, are you putting in the right measures and getting the right outcomes? If you're not getting the right outcomes, and this is where communication comes into play. Feedback loop, right? You should always be designing in a feedback loop, and you should always be talking to customers and so forth in that feedback loop, and even your coworkers or the people on your team in this feedback loop, right? All right, so that was that. The other thing, I'm gonna shift real quick. I want to bring this up. I was supposed to bring it up in the other show, but I didn't. But I got it still up here. All right. It's not necessarily what markets move that I was wanting to bring up. This was the tax hikes. All right. So the tax hike, what was in the bill? The proposal would increase the top corporate tax rate from 21% to 26.5%, and the top individual rate from 37% to 39%. Meanwhile, the top federal rate on capital gains taxes is going from 20 to 25%. So all you that are trading and selling stocks, understand how to protect your gains, right? Uh, get with a CPA, have your LLC set up correctly so you can avoid some of this. If you got property in a 1030, setting up 1031 exchanges and so forth. I don't think they got rid of that yet. It says, meanwhile, the top federal capital gains tax will raise from 20 to 5% and added to an existing 3.8 surtax on net investment income. So the total tax bite will be 28.8%, so 30%, right? The bill will also impose a 3% point surtax on people making over 5 million and provide 78.9 billion to the IRS to bolster tax enforcement for tax earnings more than 400K a year. All right. So funding into to the IRS to bolster tax enforcement for taxpayers earning more than 400K a year. Right. So here, this right here is huge, especially when we're talking about trying to get to the billions uh, in this. So just keep this in mind, what's going on. And if you want to know more about this, you can go check out the 3.5 trillion tax proposal. And what I mean, not proposal, but just the proposal itself, and see what they're talking about inside of this, because this is the tax hikes is something I wanted to really bring up in that bill, what they're describing and so forth, right? So that's that one. All right, so back to my notes. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we did the upcoming careers, we did the cybersecurity. We talked about the AI machine learning, we did the big data, I did the fading careers. Okay, so training. So remember we were talking about the COBOL and so forth, right? So let's talk about training, right? Um, so everybody probably saw this: the 34-year consultant that made over 1 million teaching cybersecurity courses during the pandemic. Um, Being able to teach cybersecurity courses, right? That's one. All right. Let me pull this one up for you. All right, this one I had this posted in Slack too. Generated over 120 million in revenue from teaching courses, and then it gives a breakdown on how he did it and so forth. In that, indeed, again, we can post these links afterwards. I just want to make sure that you have this information. You know what's going on out here in these streets. So right here, I don't know if you all saw this one. How creators can score $15,000 grant from LinkedIn Accelerator Program, part of a $25 million investment for influencers. In here, they talk about what they're looking for on their platform, launching in the U.S. to help Creator Accelerator Program is a 10-week course in which an initial group of 100 creators will receive coaching from LinkedIn employees and a $15,000 grant they can use however when they feel like it. The creators who make the cut will also have early access to tools LinkedIn is developing, and their content will receive increased promotion across LinkedIn. So again, with creating content is huge when we're talking about there. So let me get this other one. And let me know if you like what you're hearing or like what you heard so far. All right, so here's one of the big ones. Get the skills employers are looking for. Attend a live online class, getting critical skill training in safe labs on campus. Check out Northwest. Register and empower to win $10,000 scholarship by entering essential on demand workers and so forth. So what I've discovered this week, oh man, did I get? I think I grabbed it. There is a shortage of workers, trainers, DevSec engineers, and workers, right? So here's another one in Canada. It's exciting to see new training opportunities for those interested in Canada's tech sector. With new classes starting September the 20th. Check it out. So let's go ahead and check it out, what they're doing in Canada. All right. In Canada, it's going to start on is offering free training to help young people succeed in Alberta. Anyone between the ages of 17 to 30 with a high school diploma can apply for the free training, and it's a 15-week training course from junior IT analyst to junior data analyst, developed with a partnership with Microsoft and Google. Have often offered in Calgary since 2019. Every year they get 300 students that graduate for that. So again, they're trying to people are coming for you, like these skills gaps. They're trying to get things done. All right, so let's hop down here to my cool stuff that I thought was something that you just should know. All right. All right, so here Japan leverages AR to teach students the dangers of flash flooding. So basically, they're teaching them about flash flooding. So they're using pretty much AR, VR. They look like they're standing in water to talk about like how the dangers of flash flooding, what you should do, how quickly water rises and rapids. So I think they would need something like this in New Orleans or something like that. This is something that you can use at other places. But just imagine if we had this type of technology that we could do. We do have this technology, but it's not broadcasted in every school here in the U.S. Right? All right. So here we go. All right. So next one up, it's this. All right, painting robot, right? You've already seen the AI that makes music, right? You've already seen that. You already know that AI I think it's in Japan. I don't think it's China. I think it's in Japan that their population has rate is going down. They're looking for people to uh, procreate. So they're trying to get men and women together. They've even gone as far as trying to bring other women in and other men into their country so they can reproduce because they're not sleeping with each other. The men are forming a relationship with the AI platform. If you are not familiar with that AI platform, uh love Japan decline, decline birth rate. The guy is a billionaire. See, look, Japan to fund an AI matchmaking to boost birth rate because they're not getting with each other, right? But again, there's a platform where the guys and it's on Netflix. It's a show on Netflix. What they did was the men said, "Hey, I don't have to deal with whether you like me or not. I can just get with this AI program. It wakes me up. It tells me it loves me. It gives me nothing but affirmations every day, and I love my AI. My AI in my phone, right? Let me go on YouTube. AI love. Uh, it was in Japan. Oh God, I get declining um birth rate. And I watched this like a couple of years ago. Japan's problem. Koreans may go extinct here. And there's another reason why the population in the United States is actually going down as well too. There was a show, yeah, Crazy AI Love, yeah. There was a show that me and Dion was looking at. We were looking at when it came down to declining. It was what was it, Dion? I don't want to say it out loud. Was it declining? It was declining sperm. The sperm is declining in the U.S. They are not this. There, it's not the same. So just man, just be just letting you know, there's something going on with y'all, and there's an actual video, a whole video about it. If we don't get things right, so just letting you know. But when I find it about you can just look this up right here, the declining birth rate in Japan. But the issue behind it is an AI platform where men go on, they set up themselves to be on a date with the AI. It tells them they look good. The AI program helps them pick out their clothes and the whole nine. So I'm just letting you know, artificial intelligence is going to be very huge when we're talking about this. But I just wanted you to have that information. So the painting robot, here you go. Turn the sound off here. But you can see that the robot actually It's draws and then goes back in and starts painting. So now you got the whole paint thing here with that. When we're looking at what's going on with AI and machine learning and being able to, now you'll probably have something like, hey, I'm going to get my little robot that's going to paint with my son or my kid or my daughter or whatnot. I can even see replacement of kindergarten teachers and so forth, right? When we're looking at that. All right, so let's get out of this mode here. And then let's go back. What's up, Code and Path? I see you down there. What you missed? You missed a lot, man. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. You missed a lot. Missed you missed the AI talk. Here we go. So 29-year-old self-made billionaire who achieved daily returns of 10% on $1 million crypto trades breaks down two types of trading opportunities available in the 2 trillion market today and shares why he's a huge fan of Solana amid the rise of DeFi. He's a self-made billionaire, right? And in this article, it talks about his stuff from how he made this money, where he sees things going, or what his net worth is 16.2 billion. And he's 29. That 25-year-old is on set to that I talked about earlier with if he's doing $8,000 a post, $8,000 a post. Let me look at that real quick. Let me see. Can I get it? Can I get it on YouTube? Ex Machina. Yep, here we go. 6 years ago. Came out in 2015. Yep, you can buy it or rent it on YouTube. But look like somebody got something there. Let me look here. I'm just gonna look at a clip real quick. Let me see. Okay. We'll have to check it out. See what they're talking about. Is it in English? All right. So this is the other one here that's gonna probably make y'all mad. They call y'all geriatric millennials. Call y'all geriatric millennials. But you got the most power in this article. They're talking about the geriatric millennials and the Gen Xers are the ones who are quitting jobs. I didn't make this up, man. They call y'all geriatric. Call y'all geriatric, right? I ain't got nothing to do with that. So it's older millennials and young Gen Xers are driving America's great resignation, right? And they go into this article to talk about, and we'll bring this up over here, to talk about why y'all are quitting jobs. It says, according to the recent analysis by Harvard Business Review that looked at 9 million employee records from 4,000 companies, mid-career employees are driving the quits. Resignation rates are the highest between 30 to 45 years old, increasing on average more than 20% over the past year. All right, it says this means it mainly older millennials and Gen Xers who are making a great resignation. Our research backs that finding. They have a bank rate survey or whatnot, but they say more than 78% of the millennials felt that way, as did 47% of the Gen Xers. 2/3 of millennials agreed now would be a great time to make a career move. And then they just went into some other stuff about that. The geriatric millennial. I like that. That made me laugh. Anyway, smack in the middle of the job resigning cohort is the geriatric millennial, a term popularized by the author leadership Erica, I guess Dawan, to describe those turning ages between 36 to 41. She said that They are unique because they straddle the digital divide between the between the older and the younger generation. I just think the Gen Xers do that as well too. We straddle the fence because there was no YouTube and we had brick for phones. So I mean, I think we straddle that right there. For example, the Jarek millennial would know how to send a Slack message to a Gen Z coworker instead of calling them out of the blue, which they may find alarming. But they will also know to be mindful of an older co-worker's video background and help them walk through such technology. I mean, I do that now, and I'm a Gen X, so whatever they're talking about. But that's what they get, and then they talk about the America's new retirement age is 62 or younger, and the Great Resignation is giving boomers their golden years back. Nearly half of Americans in the New York Fed survey said they expected to retire at 62. Retiring early lets Americans use the golden decade for better financial planning, but the economy depends on on older workers and a move to retirement. And then they give a whole little list. They got a whole little article about this retirement at 62. I think most people. The thing is with retirement is, what do you have enough money to set up to take you? Because I don't think 62 is when you die. I think most people are probably going to average, depending on, when I say most people, depending on your health and who you are and what you do and where you go and all that other stuff, right? And you're probably going to make it to between 70 and 80, right? I say it before, I say it again. Black men, don't get upset with me. I just see y'all dying before 60 a lot. I don't know what that is. What's going on there, but hey, y'all need to figure that out. That's just what I've been seeing. But again, 62 is what they're putting in retirement. Who they call it old? Hey, that's what they called you, geriatric, right? So I just going through here what they got. Check out this. This is a Business Insider. Y'all can look at this link. I think this link you don't need a subscription for this one. I'll post the link on the thing, and D can post it in the Slack, right? All right. So here and then I got one more link after this one, and then we're gonna close it out. All right. So whoops, what I do wrong? Oh, I might have put a 9 on the end. Oh, it's two things. That's what it is. All right. From Tesla to Netflix, they're talking about these are the companies that look to set to join the 1 trillion club in the next 5 years. Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix. I guess that's Spotify. So let me look. Let me make sure that's the companies, but it may not be. Okay, here it is. All right. Tencent, Netflix, Berkshire Hathaway, and Visa are among the companies towards the $1 trillion stock market, a study shows. So it's Tencent, Netflix, Berkshire Hathaway, and Visa. The companies headed toward the $1 trillion stock market valuation, a study show. A study compared the market cap of the 50 biggest public companies with an average annual growth. Estimates for Chinese firms do not factor in Beijing most recent regulatory crackdowns. All right, so they're talking about going to the $1 trillion club. So if you're looking for jobs and longevity, those are some companies you need to be looking at when we're talking about that longevity there. That's the Tesla Roadster, 754 billion. Tencent, 569. They're out of China. Average annual growth of 97%. Tesla is 123%. Market cap, was that Comcast every time? Yep, Comcast, 263. I guess Matune. I guess this is Robotaxi probably. They estimated to hit 1 trillion by 2023 next year. Market cap of 107. Nvidia estimated to hit the trillion by 2024. I do not key see Wei Chow Mutai. I don't know. It's alcohol. expected to reach $1 trillion by 2024. Then they got Netflix. They're expected to do $1 trillion by 2024. Alibaba, 2025. Hope he stays alive. Who's this? Taiwan Semiconductor, TSME, 2025, $1 trillion. And then the list goes on. Visa, you see that there. PayPal, Berkshire. Who is this? South Korea Technology. Who is this? Samsung. 2026. Who's this with this purse? Oh, okay, yeah. Louis Vuitton. 2026, $1 trillion. Salesforce, $1 trillion by 2026, right? So you can see where we're going with that. Those are companies. If you think Louis Vuitton don't have DevSecOps, you're crazy. Go check them out. All right. So this right here reveals talent shortages as the biggest barrier to emerging technology adoption. All right, and I want to kind of scroll through here, and I had three other things, didn't I, Dion? I had three other articles. Oh, I gotta pull them down so y'all can see them. Emerging technologies compared to let me click that over there. Compared with just 4% in 2020. Talent availability is cited among the leading factors. Talent availability is cited among the leading factor inhibiting adoption among all 6 technology domains: compute infrastructure, platform services, network security, digital workplace, IT automation, and storage and database. I talk about this all the time. It's a shortage. IT executives cited talent availability as a main adoption risk factor for majority of the IT automation technologies and nearly half of the digital workplace technologies. Right. The ongoing push for remote work and the acceleration of higher plans in 21 has exacerbated the IT talent scarcity. Right, they're talking about infrastructure operations that other IT leaders have increased the adoption of emerging emerging technologies to drive innovation as organizations begin to recover from the pandemic and so forth. So they talk about cloud and security technologies prioritized. I talk about infrastructure all the time. There's no way to get around it. Your company can't run if you don't have infrastructure. Just what it is. All right. So here they got a roadmap. I actually have downloaded these roadmaps. Let me see. I need to pull them down. So Gartner identified key emerging technologies. So I want to show this. This is what I want to get to. Hope this is big enough, right? So here's the hype scale, all right, where they talk about innovation trigger, peak of inflated expectations, the trough of disillusionment, slope of enlightenment, and plateau of productivity. And here they're talking about, you see NFT, and now let me go back up. Let me go back down. So here they're talking about plateau will be reached in 2 years, 2.2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 years and obsolete on the plateau. But you can see here, we got plateau will be reached in 10 years. And if we look at that and we go here and look, quantum ML, we look at AI driven innovation. We look at name data networking. Up here, we look at digital humans. That's going to be in 10 years. The next 5 to 10 years are your blue dots. We got digital platform conductor tools, AI augmented design. We just got through talking about design, influence engineer, machine readable legislation, industry clouds, sovereign clouds, homomorphic encryption, self-integrating applications, composable networks, decentralized finance, um, active metadata management, multi-experience, and then we have AI augmented software engineering, and then data fabric. And then reach their peak in 2 to 5 years. They have real-time incident center SaaS, uh, generative AI, composable applications, employee communications, NFTs, and then decentralized identity. Right. So this is just where we're headed. You're if you're over here on this side, I mean, we're good, right? So we're talking about innovation trigger up in here, right? All the way up to here. Like they're basically saying the peak of inflated expectations. I don't know about NFT being there, right? But here we want to stay in this one right here because we know we're gonna get at least some longevity out of some of these over here, right? All right. Put a one in the comments if you're liking what we're talking about here. Like, let me know what you think. All right, let me go up and grab. I gotta grab some stuff. I wanted to grab this. So if you have never been to Gartner, you should go check out the Gartner and their reports. Because they have different reports, but they also have jobs. So you can check out Data Protection Council, and you can come in here and you can just do a search by United States, senior conference program. And if you go over here and hit careers, they have it broken down into different areas, right? Consulting roles. So you just want to be a consultant. You want to do that only in the United States, right? And so they need a senior consultant, IT strategy, healthcare, managing partner, IT strategy, consulting, healthcare. That's in Georgia. And just go through the list, right? Scroll through the list, right? And you can see that. Um, see, that's that one. It's the O'Reilly course. I know I sent D a whole bunch of stuff. And now I don't see it. But let me go to my Adobe because I pulled out some very interesting stuff.
We can see this stuff too. Is it not on our sheet?
I thought I sent it to you. I thought I shared it with you, but that's okay.
Oh no, you share so many good things.
I can't blow this up. Oh man. Yeah, I can't blow this up.
I can make trouble.
Select sheet share. If you share this link with people, they can read it. Cause I can't blow this up anymore. Oh wait a minute. I probably can. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me get out of this and quit message. Yep. All right. So let me do this. Bring messages back up. Are my messages open yet? Hold on. I know how to do it. It didn't download. That's what it is. Okay. Let me see if I can get this downloaded. And then I'll go here to my downloads. All right, here we go. Much better. All right, that's much better. All right. So with this particular link or PDF here, um, what they're talking about here is if you look at it, I'm just gonna break it down here. All right, so they got it broken up into sections, right? They got deployment completion, and this is an analysis of companies that they interviewed with, and this is where the companies are at and I got to bring up the other one, the other link, because they start talking about upcoming stuff with 6G. Who's studying 6G, right? We just got the 5G. Now we're talking about 6G, right? All right. So now with so deployment completion by 2022 in pilot, in planning and monitoring, right? So where are companies at? And so they got down here. Let me make this blow this out. Can I not? When I blow it out, it don't like it. Okay. All right. So I'll roll it up a little bit here. So right here, they talk about the risk award to each technology is based on an analysis of potential risks posed, including marketplace, vendor, maturity, architectural fit, complexity, security, talent availability, regulatory compliance, and so forth. So there's a video that goes with this as well too. But in here, they say the key takeaways. All right. Leaders have increased adoption of emerging technologies as organizations begin to recover from the pandemic by seeking innovation opportunities. Talent shortages are rising on a significant challenge for successful adoption. The need for resilience drives the business case. Emerging technologies that enable democratize democratize, I always miss that word, democratize delivery are being increasingly important for this is supposed to be infrastructure and operation leaders. Leaders are creating distributed platforms, improving and maintaining IT infrastructure security. Executives are deploying highly disruptive emerging technologies to ensure continue uninterrupted access to enterprise networks. Organizations are investing in technologies that enable intelligent data and analytic capabilities to scale enterprise-wide digital ambitions. And I'm going to read up from here. Edge technologies that enable swift analysis, adoption of storage and database emerging technologies. Enterprises are more selectively adopting technologies related to automation in 2021, leading to the cautious deployment of several emerging IT automation technologies, and the demand for digital workplace technologies plateaued in 2021 compared to 2020, right? So if you look up here, you see kind of like where everyone is at: edge networking, uh, deployment in 2021. That's on the network side. If we look over here, firewall as a service. But if you start getting out here to these outer bands, they're in the pilot program, right? Meaning they haven't fully adopted them yet. If you start looking at the outer bands, so we got application security orchestration correlation, ASOC, zero trust network, mobile threat defense, enterprise productivity application, augmented reality, citizen integrator tools, citizen data science tools, virtual assistants, NLP, facial recognition, desktop as a service. Like they're in pilot, right? They're in pilot. And then you just go around this loop here, right? So when you go around this loop right here, like I am, like blockchain platforms, IoT, they're in pilot, meaning they're still working some things out. But deployment completion in 2022, cloud managed networks, cloud workload protection platforms, SaaS deliver IM, hardware based security, digital adoption, infrastructure as code, um, cloud testing tools, AI ops. I talk about AI ops all the time, right? Microservices. So you just keep going around this. This is where we're at. We're already doing these things right here, right? And then these things are that on the outer end are coming down the pipe and should be completed by probably 2022, 2023, right? So those are just some of the things to look at. Let me go to my Adobe. Um, I know I had some PDFs. I know I shared a bunch of stuff with you, D, and I don't even know what happened to them. I have no idea. Hold on. I shared them over here, and I don't know why you didn't, why you don't have them. Let me see. Oh, here got one right here. Uh, oh yeah, this is another one. So let me airdrop that. Hmm. All right. Um. So here they in this particular report they talked about AI core technologies, AI enterprise, AI impact on people, composite AI in structure, and data for AI. And they talked about the maturity level. They talked about the deployment of the maturity level. And you can look here, machine learning AI, and then rule based optimization techniques, natural language processing, and graph techniques. And they just kind of go, and it's an actual video that goes with this. By 2023, organizations that scale graph techniques will deliver five times more AI models for multiple use cases into production than those that don't. And this is dealing with composite AI. And then when you're dealing with AI infrastructure, by 2025, AI will be the top category driving infrastructure decisions due to a maturation of AI market, resulting in tenfold growth in compute requirements. Um, Data for AI by 2024, the use of synthetic data and transfer learning will have the volume of real data needed for machine learning. 2023, up to 10% of AI training data will be poisoned. And they mean poisoned and from biases in the AI. Malicious actor, people actually putting malicious information out there. And we've seen that with Facebook. I think Facebook just went through it with black men being referred to as primates. I think that was. All right. Now, what does AI look like in retail, the digital commerce, healthcare, and life sciences? They had a poll, and they just went on and just kind of just jumping through here because I wanted to get to this. Did everybody see the link that I posted inside of Slack uh, about about the people taking women faces and doing deep fakes and putting them in porn videos and then reselling them? Did y'all see that? Where people are like taking a person's face and then putting it into a porn video and then reselling the porn. Have y'all seen that? It's called a deep fake. Just want you to know what's out there. So while you have your information out there online, make sure that you're protecting yourselves. Um, and this is important too. By 2025, 75% of the conversations will be recorded. They already record you walking through the airport and whatnot. Trust me, they're recording you on everything, right? 75% of your conversations will be recorded and analyzed and enable the discovery of added organization value and risk. So I wonder how much of your conversations are being recorded and worked while you're at the water cooler or while you're walking through or whatnot. How much of your Zoom is being recorded, right? So those are things that I wanted to highlight there. Um, let me see. Um, yeah, I wanted to show you this one too. All right, so this is a PDF from a class from on O'Reilly. And in here they talk about it's a class for beginners for machine learning, right? Getting started with machine learning. This is shout out to the person that I guess Keishu at Big Thinking .io. It's the website, right? They give an overview of machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? What is the difference between AI versus machine learning. So AI is the ability of a machine or a computer program to think and learn. The concept of AI is based on the idea of building machines capable of thinking, learning, capable of thinking, acting, and learning like humans. And then they was like, what AI is and what AI isn't. All right, and they talk about artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. But that's not what I really want to show. There was this I want to show. This is AI. Here is machine learning, and here is deep learning, and how that falls into play for that. That's what I want to show a while ago. I was like, where is that diagram at? Because this diagram is really going to give you the idea. Okay, well, where does machine learning fall in with AI, right? And then they talk about machine learning is an application of AI. A computer is learning if its performance of a certain task, as measured by a computable score, improves with the experience. That's Tom Mitchell from 1997, right? And a discipline by goal, machine learning, learn from experience, searching and planning, synthesize a plan to reach a desired goal, knowledge representation, knowledge engineer, robotics, move and manipulate objects, natural language processing, understanding human language. If you don't know where you're using natural language processing, you're using that in text. Every time you text someone and it starts to complete your word or complete a phrase or something that you use, or even in your Google emails, that's NLP, that's natural language processing. Perception, reduce human vision and touch hearing, right? So this is cool. I'll drop this inside of Slack just so you can have it and take a look at it or whatnot. But there's a class under on O'Reilly that takes care of this. And that's all I had today. No, it's a lot. I know. I went through a lot, but I wanted to make sure I got that information out there. I need my own TV recording. Yeah, man. Set it up. Let me know, Evelyn. Let me know what I need to be doing. But I want you to have this information so you could see.
You said your own TV recording you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I wanted to have this information um out here so you can see like where we're going, like where technology is going. I talk about edge computing all the time. I talk about high performance computing. I talk about security. Anything I talk about, security is just going to be a stable. You should treat that like you should treat security like having a refrigerator in your house. That's just where it's at, right? So security is always wrapped in there. Infrastructure is called AI, machine learning. You saw the difference between them. I just want you to have that information. I thank y'all for rocking with us. Uh, uh, Patrice, Casey, Katie, new one. Make sure you share this content with other people. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you did not, hit the subscribe button. If you did not hit the like button, Code and Paths, you should be hitting the subscribe button so you don't ever miss the stream. You don't have to come in late or whatnot. And two, go back and watch some of the old shows, right? I've already got next week's stuff written out. That's gonna be even better than this one. That's gonna be a doozy. So hey, we're gonna get to it. And thank you all for coming out and appreciate you for sharing our information. All right.